kids that are constantly viewing that are seeing, okay, well, maybe I don't measure up to that, or maybe I don't have the clothes or the shoes or the makeup look like that. So that could, and then starting at such a young age, could really develop into self-esteem and even body issues. So I think that is like at its core what we're seeing a lot of.
This is the M Squared podcast featuring author Miranda Mathis. You will hear tips, tricks, and inspiration that will help you raise and educate little ones who are happy, safe, and kind. Enjoy the show. Hello, everyone. This is season 2 of the M Squared Books podcast. I'm Sarah, the producer, and I'm here with author Miranda Mathis and her guest, Danielle Betines. Hi, ladies. So good to see you guys.
Hi.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, Danielle.
Hello.
So
Hi.
today we're going to talk about social media and hear from Danielle on some ways to help children navigate it in a more constructive and positive way. Such an important topic. So Danielle, before we jump into that, can you tell us about who you are and what you do in about 30 seconds?
Sure. Hello, my name is Danielle. I am a school psychologist and I am a first time children's book author of my book, Love Your Selfie. It's a book about building self esteem in the 21st century.
Wonderful, Danielle. I am so happy to have you as my guest. And let's get right into it and not even waste a minute of time. Now, I know you've heard so many people talk about social media, and parents are probably going nuts with trying to figure out social media because they hear so many positives and negatives. So, what are some of the biggest issues you are seeing when it comes to social media?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, once I got this book out, I have heard it from constantly that social media is a great topic because it's so prevalent. Um, you know, when I was growing up, cell phones were prevalent, but the internet wasn't so readily accessible. So on average, our kids are getting their cell phones about age 10 to 12, which means they're getting on social media at like a little before middle school or middle school age. And that means they're usually on some form of social media platform, whether that's TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram. Facebook is for us, but um, they have all of those social media insights, and I think the biggest thing is what they're exposed to. The kids have been exposed to a beautified world of where everything is perfect. People have perfect makeup, perfect skin, perfect clothes, perfect everything, and it's not what's real. And I think an issue that's caused from that is kids that are constantly viewing that are seeing, okay, well, maybe I don't measure up to that, or maybe I don't have the clothes or the shoes or the makeup look like that. So that could, and then starting at such a young age, could really develop into self-esteem and even body issues. So I think that is like at its core what we're seeing a lot of.
Yeah, I agree. They don't realize that it's all fake. Some
Hmm.
things are real, and some things, some of the information provided on social media is true. But come on, we don't wake up looking gorgeous every day
Mm-mm.
and having the best moods. But they believe in that because they're impressionable. So, with
Hmm.
that being said, some people may be more hands off, while others are very specific about what, where, and how their kids use social media. What do you think the role of a parent is when it comes, or should be, when it comes to their child's social media use? What are your suggestions?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Some parents are hands off, but a lot of them are concerned and they want to know what they can do to help. I think, as I said, they're starting so young, and at that age, I think they should really be monitored to see what they're following, who's following them. And I use that in a social media way. I don't mean like a spy, but who they're showing on social media like that. And I think, how much they monitor them and what they're monitoring is all dependent on their age. Obviously, the younger ones should be monitored to see what they're viewing,
Mhm.
and also a time limit.
Yeah.
I could sit on the couch all day long and just, I call it doom scrolling, and I just scroll on my phone all day long, watch these videos. And you come out of your social media bubble, and you're like, oh my gosh, the real world is still out there. So I think monitoring them, who and what they're watching online, and definitely a timestamp on how long these kids are, playing on their phones, playing on the social media. I think that's
You
so.
know, I always said stores close, schools close. They are the end of work day. There's a time that everything closed, but you can always find something 24/7 on the internet. So what you said is so important, monitoring it, because they can wake up in the middle of the night and go on TikTok. They
Mhm.
can they could.
They're up at 2 a.m. just scrolling
Yes.
away.
So having some limitations, I agree with you, in monitoring is so important. Controlling or moderating anything that's popular can be a struggle for some parents, and I'm sure it is because I have a godson and he loves YouTube, so I'm always peeking. When it comes to the relationship between parents and kids, how can parents get more involved in their child's social media use? And do you think that's a positive way of doing it?
I think there is such a positive way to get involved in kids' social media because you want to meet them where they are. That's what they're interested in. That's what they like. So why not meet them where they are?
Mm,
I again sometimes I'm on my social media device and I see these things and it kind of makes my heart happy. You see these celebrities and their younger kids making these TikTok dances, and I think that's a great idea. You're seeing what they're doing, but you're also participating in it as well. So it's a safe, nurturing environment for your child, and you're doing something fun with them that they like. So I know if you ever watch New Girl, the character who plays Schmidt, him and his daughter are always doing these cute little TikTok dances, but they're doing something together. And I think that's a great way to use social media as a parent and a child in a really positive way.
that is awesome. That's awesome because you're getting with them, you're doing something, and it's parent and child time. So
Mhm.
you're building a relationship. You're not saying don't do it, don't get on it, because they're going to do it. Whether
Mhm.
you know it or not, they're going to do it. But doing it with them, it's like, oh, me and mom, we're doing something cool. My mom or my dad is awesome. So that's another way of building your relationship, as well as that quality time with your child. Whether it's on TikTok, YouTube, or whatever, at least they're doing something with you. So
Mhm.
that suggestion and that tip is definitely awesome. Now, what are some of your best tips for navigating social media with a child as a parent and also as a teacher?
Mhm. Well, I think my best tip and number one would be just be aware. Be aware of what they're watching. Be aware of what they're doing, who they're talking to, especially what kind of information they're posting. That's always pinnacle because kids are young. They don't know. They don't really understand that if they post something that might be putting them in a negative light, that everybody now sees this and everybody now has access to that information. So I would just be very cognizant of what they're posting. My other thing that kind of piggybacks on that one is have a conversation with your kids when you get them their cell phone, when you get them onto social media. Open the conversation to them. What are you going to do online? Who are you going to talk to? Safety. Internet
Mm.
safety is so important for these kids to learn about because they're growing up in it, but you gotta put some boundaries on it and they gotta be a part of that. And that'll make it easier for them.
I love that. I love that. Well, I enjoy the suggestion. I enjoy the suggestions and tips that you're giving us. I do a social media presentation to schools in schools. So this is how important it is for us to get that information out there to parents And parents, please monitor it, because I talk about bullying and all kinds of things. It happens on social media and through the
It does.
internet. So, your suggestions about doing things with them, at least they'll know you have access to the information if you need it.
Mhm.
And two, you're monitoring it. Mommies and daddy, they know what I'm doing. And that's important. It's not being sneaky. It's not, always on them, but it's so important
Mhm.
to watch and know who's talking to your kid, who they're having, if they're having an issue. All those things are important. So I thank you for your suggestions and your
Yeah,
tips. It's been wonderful to have you.
it's been
And I am
wonderful.
going to turn it
And
over to Sarah.
Hey, so can you tell us just a little bit about or a lot of it, about your book and other projects you're working on, maybe the talk that you do? I know you mentioned that. And
sure.
let people know how to get in touch with you and where to find you.
Sure. Again, like I mentioned before, this has been really fun. This is my first podcast, so I'm very excited to be a part of it.
Yay!
Again, my book is Love Your Selfie. It is about developing self esteem in the 21st century. It deals with online bullying and how we can overcome it, and a general message of being kind.
Mm.
I am a practicing school psychologist and I work in an alternative school in West Caldwell. And I am really launching about my book and its purpose. You can follow me on social
Cool.
media. It's Love Your
So,
Selfie
can you give
hash
us maybe just, I
underscore
know
book.
you kind of gave us some
And you
before,
could see
but
all the different events I'm
one
doing. I'm
or
hosting
two, maybe
different
three, just
talk series
super
in the
easy
coming
action
months.
items that
So,
people
and
can maybe
I'll
put
be
into
at different
place
wellness
this
events,
week or even
mental health
today
wellness events
to start
in and around the
navigating that
area.
social
So
media
if you are
challenge with
around, please
kids,
follow
whether you're
me,
a parent
and
or teacher?
maybe we'll see you at the next event.
What can they do?
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Mhm. Sure. Number one thing that I didn't mention before, but as someone in the school system, I work in a high school, and it is one of the biggest things I see is internet drama. Kids getting involved in social media, online, a group text, Facebook Live, whatever you want to call it. They're going online, chatting with each
Mhm.
other, and stirring up drama. And so, what my number one take home would be to remind your kids to stay out of internet drama. If you wouldn't say it to someone's face, that's not something you want to be sharing online about it. Start conversations with your kids about social media. Have an open dialogue with them. They'll be more willing to talk to you if you start it. And get involved with them. If you're meeting them halfway at something that they like, it opens that conversation for them. So it makes it easier to see what they're doing and keep them safe and give you a peace of mind.
Wonderful.
Awesome. I like that. It's really helpful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you. I really enjoyed this.
It was great meeting you.
I did. It was great meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening. Head over to msquarebooks.com where you can find all the latest books and hear about upcoming events like live readings. See you next time.